Howdy folks, welcome back to Joe's Comic Strip. Here's the place where I learned to become a YouTube creator as I learned to script, draw, and ink my own original comic strips as well. What you see here is the 9th comic strip I have made. I'm pretty happy with it. It's the second piece I have inked with a quill ink pen, and the first which I have used the correct surface, which is acid-free 100-pound Bristol paper. So here we begin by securing the blank onto my trusty clipboard and adding 2 small tabs of painter's masking tape. Blue works good for me and will not only hold the card in place, but can also be used to paint edges as well. I have never had this blue tape tear the paper, but I take care when removing it just the same. From there, I have measured and penciled out my border. This can be any size or width that you like. Using the blue tape, I have masked along the inside edge of the border. As an experiment, I did not use my gel pen this time, but an artist paintbrush. It's a number 4 outliner with the India ink, which came with my new quill pen. It's working real good so far. After getting a feel for the brush, I started using the tape less and less. The only problem I had at this point was that it was moving along so quickly, I did not yet have any story ideas. But if you are creative like me, I was sure that ideas would start to happen. Now, here's a close-up of that brush. The brand is Daler Rowney, and I'll be looking for more of these. I usually use a 2H pencil to draw my borders and to sketch out the comic, but since I was having such good results with that brush, I went over my border lines again with a 2B pencil and my ruler so I could cut in the ink easier with this brush. But speaking of pencils, I like the General Pencil Company. They've been making them since 1883. Now, someday soon, I'll have a better camera, or at least a tripod for my phone. But in this picture here, I was having a blast painting with the India ink. It suddenly made sense to me why comic art looks so good. I believe it's also the paper. It's getting easier to draw and ink with the right materials. A quick look at the finished borders, and we're moving on to the storyboard. I use this method, and it works for me. First, I write down 3 different parameters at the top of the page. There's a theme for your comic, the character you'd like to use, you can change any of this stuff, and the setting. It's just there to get you started. Then I rough out my design area about 50% the size of the finished work. I just had one idea to start with on this piece, the new ink and paper that I was using. So black and white came to mind. And then I thought, well, what can I use that with? And in one of my previous cartoons, I had put a little itty bitty flying saucer up in the background just for fun. And I thought about that and about everyone's ongoing fascination with the possibility of extraterrestrials. Is it a good thing to be afraid of something that we don't know, the unknown? So I tried, and I hope I succeeded, in presenting a person from another planet who is really just like us. So here's the fun part. Now that we have our canvas ready, if you will, our borders are done, our storyboard complete, we can begin transferring our comic. I put down 3 grid lines, 2 horizontal and 1 vertical, which match the storyboard. And I make any changes I like as I copy everything over by hand. It's hard to see these pencil lines I added to the chat balloons, but they are twice the size of the storyboard. If I start with a 1/4 inch there, it becomes a 1/2 inch in the finished version, or 1 centimeter times 2 if you get me. Here you can see Drew and his new friend are taking shape. Using the 2H pencil makes it easy to change anything here. I still use my old pink pearl eraser to clean up with, and it seems to work fine. Things move along quickly now. Now, here's my favorite part, the ink. Once you get the hang of your new pen, remember, round side of the quill goes up while you're using it. I also saw a handy trick. You can use a bit of modeling clay to hold your ink bottle in place. A bottle of black ink can be real hard to clean up if it's spilled. Now, I have been working from top to bottom, but from what I've seen, this Indian ink dries really quick. Just do something else for a few minutes and it'll be dry enough to touch and you can work around it. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you return later for another episode of Joe's Comic Strip.